Hey, I just wanted to give you a little preview of our next 2 weeks at the Equip School of Discipleship as we're going to go through a teaching as we look through a cycle of pain and how we get stuck in our wounds and often how then we don't have freedom in our walks with Jesus. A couple years ago, I was fishing with my dad and Ethan, and we were fishing in a area where there were lots of weeds as we were fishing for bass. And at one point, we were kind of going slow. Then my dad revved up the propeller, and instantly we were stuck. We couldn't go anywhere. The motor shut off. And as we lifted up the propeller, there were weeds that were wrapped around so tight, and we couldn't go anywhere. And I had to lean way over and take the weed unwrap them one after another. And after 20 minutes of that, finally we were able to get going and moving again. And Proverbs 4:20 talks about guarding our hearts. From it flows all of life, the streams of living water that we see that in John 7 are to flow within us. But if we have wounds in our hearts, these create and then lead to strongholds in our thinking, mindsets that 2 Corinthians 10 says are set up against the knowledge of God. So this week, we're going to look at our heart, and we're going to look at wounds that have happened in our lives that maybe we have covered up or we've not looked at, and how these wounds then lead, and where we'll talk in the second week to strongholds, to thought patterns, lies that we've believed, that where we don't believe God's good, where God's loving. And this leads to a bigger cycle where I'll talk about the whole cycle in short. But specifically, we're going to talk about our hearts, how we stay connected with the Lord. And then the second week, our minds and how we can be free to believe the truth about us. Hope you'll join us. Looking forward to being with you these next 2 weeks.